Don't be afraid, just have faith. I don't know of a person, including myself, that doesn't need to hear those words from Jesus, not just today, but every day. And I would say by extension, what a wonderful thing to share with others what Jesus tells us. Well, within the scope of today's first reading and gospel are tragedy and grief, faith and healing, all parts of the lived experience for each one of us to one degree or another. As we heard in the first reading, King David's son, who had betrayed him, ultimately is killed by Joab. And in that time frame, David suffered two losses. The first was betrayal, but the greater and the final was the death of his son, Absalom. King David, like the father of the prodigal son, held out hope for reconciliation, but on earth, it would not happen. Today, mothers and fathers still experience estrangement and even betrayal, sadly, from sons and daughters. And yet, to one degree or another, they hold out hope. They're hoping for reconciliation, praying as we did in today's psalm, "Listen, Lord, answer me." Lord, help bring about healing in our relationship. Lord, help bring about unity in our family. In the gospel, there are two instances where faith in Jesus leads to a physical healing. In each case, the situation is desperate. Jairus' daughter is near death, and then there's the woman who has suffered a bleeding disorder for 12 years, compounded by unsuccessful, painful, and costly medical treatments in an attempt to heal her. Jairus, in the greatest posture of humility, falls at the feet of Jesus and begs him to lay his hands on his daughter to heal her. Likewise, the woman fights her way through the crowd with the belief that if only she can touch Jesus' cloak, she will be healed. Both Jairus and the woman are rewarded for their faith and hear the words from Jesus that we all want to hear. Your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction. As I said at the beginning, and do not be afraid, just have faith. The reality is that everyone who faces tragedy and grief needs to believe in the same Jesus who healed the young girl and the woman. Last night, as I was writing these words, I received a text from a neighbor who told me that her father, Mr. Walsh, had gone home to God last night. His daughter, Diane, had asked me to keep him and their family in prayer over these past weeks. And we prayed that he would be ready when God called him home, and that his days on earth would be a time of prayer and healing and love. Now, as we know, not every prayer leads to a healing in the way that we would hope for. But count on this. Every prayer to God leads to the healing and peace and love that God knows that we need. And one last thought. Jesus also cared for the basic needs of the young girl by telling her family that she should be given something to eat. To me, this is the reminder that Jesus knows that amidst our lives on earth, we still need to take care of the basics. Food, shelter, clothing, doing your laundry, and sleep. He wants us to live both holy and healthy lives so that we can help our families, our friends, and even strangers to believe in a loving and a healing God, even amidst the hard parts of life. So my brothers and sisters, may we keep in mind that life does contain tragedy and grief, but it also contains the beauty of healing moments and the grace of God to help us through even the hardest moments, ultimately to the joy of being with him and those we love.